the session today, which is a special session on the role of regulatory authorities. This is a continuation of the first India-Bangladesh stakeholders meet, which was organized in 2019. So now, in order to enhance the relationship between the two countries, the trade and bilateral relationship between the two countries, this session is being discussed. So I would request the chairman of Bangladesh Trade and Tariff Commission, Mohammad Afzal Hussain, to initiate the session. Sir.
Yes.
Afzal Hussain, sir, can you hear us, sir?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you, sir. So good morning,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, thank you. Good morning.
We can initiate the session, sir.
Distinguished panelists, participants, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to you all. On behalf of Bangladesh Trade and Tariff Commission, I wish to extend my heartfelt gratitude to the Ministry of Industry, Government of India, and Indian Chamber of Commerce for organizing such a time-demanded event and for inviting me as a panelist in today's special session. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I would like to highlight a few issues on today's discussion topic, the role of regulatory authorities in cross-border trade through the surface route. There is no denying the fact that the significance of cross-border trade-related activity creates many paybacks for the end users, such as consumers, producers, bankers, manufacturers, and institutional investors, through reducing different kinds of risks. In this context, I firmly believe that regulatory authority can play a facilitating role rather than regulatory role through reducing such risks and ensuring smoother cross-border trade flow. As many agencies are exclusively involved with the cross-border trade activities, inter-agency cooperation as well as cross-border harmonization are the two most significant issues that need to be addressed first. In that case, I strongly believe that the regulatory authorities can play an imperative role. Distinguished gathering, trade facilitation, what we call the simplification, modernization, and harmonization of export and import processes, has therefore emerged as an important issue for the world trading system towards facilitating cross-border trade. Estimates show that the full implementation of the WTO Trade Facilitation Agreement would reduce trade costs by an average of 14.3% and boost global trade by up to $1 trillion per year, with the biggest gains in the poorest countries. OECD data shows that if countries in the region were to fully implement the WTO Trade Facilitation Agreement, TFA, which aims to simplify paperwork and harmonize customs procedures, trade costs for lower middle income economies, such as the BBIN nations, could come down by over 17%. Dear ladies and gentlemen, the digitization and automation of customs and other procedures can also lead to faster, the more transparent clearances. At the moment, however, large gaps remains in this region. I believe one of such key areas of trade facilitation is to introduce the single window, which operates in the area of regulation of cross-border trade. It involves a high degree of collaboration between customs, tax authorities, trade policy administrators, security agencies, and other regulatory agencies dealing with health, safety, and environment. In Bangladesh context, World Bank is supporting us in developing single electronic gateways that will allow importers and exporters to file their documents electronically. Once fully operational, the national single windows is expected to dramatically reduce clearance times. Distinguished participants, it's a matter of great surprise that the BBIN countries find it easier to trade with distant lands than with their neighbors. The World Bank's Connecting to Thrive report finds it is about 15 to 20% cheaper for an Indian company to trade with Brazil or Germany than with adjoining Bangladesh. Consequently, regional trade has barely scratched the surface of its potential. Although trade between the BBIN countries grew six-fold between 2005 to 2019, the unexploited potential remains a massive, estimated at 93% for Bangladesh, 50% for India, and 70% for Nepal. Distinguished gathering, cross-border trade in this region suffers a lot due to various regulatory ambiguities. Moreover, due to the lack of regulatory harmonization, higher level of documentary requirements still prevails. In addition, duplication requirements in relation to compliance matters are also prominent. Further requirements in relation to compliance matters are also prominent. Further, there are still difficulties in sourcing equivalent regulations. Above all, expert opinion suggests that on the infrastructure front, an integrated multimodal transport network will go far in promoting the smoother movement of goods. Rails and roads, too many, require further attention. It's a matter of great optimism that in Bangladesh, seamless connectivity with India can raise national income by as much as 17%, while India would gain by 8%. In this context, simpler regulations and regulatory harmonization will help ease the movement of cargo movement. Distinguished gathering, finally, I would like to highlight few points which need to be addressed in the perspective of ensuring free flow of cross-border trade. Number one, determine the necessity to change regulatory ambiguities. Number two, regulatory impact assessment needs to be conducted. Number three, the initiatives regarding rationalization, modernization, and harmonization of cross-border regulatory regime should be considered. Number four, raising awareness of compliance requirements. Number five, easier access to regulatory information is needed to raise awareness amongst business community about the importance of compliance issues. Number five, the use of international standards as benchmarks should be ensured. Number six, focusing on assessing outcomes rather than rules. Number seven, ensure communicating with counterparts before making any regulatory changes. Number eight, create mechanisms for ensuring cross-border regulatory cooperation. Number nine, highly professional assessment team may be formed for the analysis of cross-border bottlenecks. Bangladesh Trade and Tariff Commission may contribute in this assessment with its institutional memory. It should be kept in mind that regulatory policy making should ensure protecting fundamental national concerns such as stability, privacy, and security. I would like to thank once again the organizer for organizing such a lively event. I wish this discussion a success. Thank you all for this moment. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Chairman, sir. I would like to inform the House that panelists, senior dignitaries who are present here
Yeah,
today.
excuse me, Pranam, your voice is breaking. Just kindly check the.
We had just.
Your voice is breaking, Pranam.
Can you hear me? Am I
Yeah,
audible?
voice is breaking,
Okay,
we
okay.
cannot
Yeah,
hear.
yeah, but Pranam's voice is breaking.
Am I audible now?
Yeah, you are right. Absolutely correct right now.
Okay.
Carry on, please.
I apologize for this technical glitch. I'd like to inform the House that the dignitaries who are present here today, we had just heard the Chairman, Bangladesh Trade and Tariff Commission, Mohammed Afzal Hussain. We are privileged that we are joined by Mr. Vimal Kumar Srivastav, Principal Commissioner, Customs and EP, Central Board of Indian Trade and Customs, and Special Secretary to the Government of India. We are also joined by Mohammed Mustafa Kamal Mazumdar, Member, Admin and Finance, Bangladesh Land Port Authority. We are also joined by Mr. Dewan Sultan Ahmed, Honorary Treasurer, India Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce and Trade, Commerce and Industry, IBCCI. We are joined by Ms. Samriddhi Bimal, Senior Trade Researcher, who is working with Land Port Authority of India. She has also joined us. And we will be joined by Dr. Vagish Pandey, Assistant Director, Plant Protection Officer, Plant Control Station, Guwahati. And we are also privileged that we have been joined by Mr. Ajit Kumar Singh, Director Operations, Land Port Authority of India. I would now request Mr. Vimal Kumar Srivastav, Principal Commissioner, Customs and EP, CBIC, to kindly address the gathering. Sir.
Everyone. First of all, I would like to thank the Indian Chamber of Commerce and both the governments, senior delegates from both the sides for organizing this virtual stakeholders meet, as well as enlightening the entire gathering with their ideas and views. I understand that this workshop is focused on various bilateral arrangements between the two countries, enhance bilateral trade as well as transit of goods. The topic of this session, which is role of regulatory authorities in cross-border trade through surface route, is very important, in particular to understand which government bodies are engaged in regulating as well as facilitating trade through surface route, which are the existing arrangements, and what are the future plans. Before I proceed further, I would like to give a special thank to Mr. Afzal Hussain, Honorable Chairman, Bangladesh Tariff Commission, for giving a future perspective, listing out what are the areas which need to be addressed, and also instilling the idea that the government agencies have a dual role of both as a regulator as well as a facilitator. So with this remark, I would like to say that the Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs, Government of India, plays a crucial role not only as a regulator, but also as an enabler and as a facilitator. When we analyze the surface route, then I think there are three modes which we need to examine, and they are roadways, railways, and waterways. And also we need to keep in mind both the bilateral trade as well as transit of goods through the territory of each other. Now let us look at what are the existing arrangements at these three modes and how customs is playing its role in facilitating the stakeholders. One of the most primitive thing I would say in facilitating trade between the two adjacent countries anywhere in the world is the land customs stations, which in the modern world we are modernizing into as integrated checkposts. In general, the trade through surface route takes place through land customs stations and integrated checkposts. As of now, there are 62 land customs stations and ICPs located at India-Bangladesh border, out of which 38 are functional, and we endeavor to make most of them functional. These stations are first notified as a customs station by the Ministry of Finance under Section 7 of the Customs Act, and thereafter, the Jurisdictional Commissioner of Customs notifies the customs area within these locations where the goods can be unloaded or loaded under Section 8 of the Customs Act 1962 of the Government of India. It is important to state that these LCS and ICP cater not only the road route, but some of the such stations, LCS and ICPs, have rail routes as well as waterways notified along with them based on the recommendation of Ministry of Railways, Inland Waterways Authority, and various other stakeholders. And of course, when we notify or open a new customs station, land customs station, we always consult the other government, in this case, the government of Bangladesh, so as to ensure that both the sides are coordinate in the development. Having dealt with the land customs station, I think the other most important arrangement between the two countries is the trade agreement. Bangladesh and India are enjoying special trade relations under different agreements. I would list it out. It is SAFTA, which is South Asia Free Trade Agreement. It is SAFTA. And the third one is the LDC scheme of India, which is duty-free tariff preference. Of course, the bilateral trade between the two countries mainly happens under SAFTA. More than about 99% trade happens under SAFTA. If we see the figures of trade, I believe that the trade is booming under the arrangement of SAFTA. Most of the import from Bangladesh come with zero rate of duty. And if I compare the figures of 2 years, that is 2020-21, import from Bangladesh to India was 1,092 million US dollar, which has substantially enhanced this year, 21-22. In the first 9 months itself, that is up to December, it was 1,479 million US dollar. This shows that there is a smooth trade going on at the border under SAFTA arrangement, but yes, we do acknowledge that there are certain issues which remain to be resolved, which we can discuss as we proceed in this workshop. Now, the role of customs is very crucial to ensure that necessary clearances are granted expeditiously in the bilateral trade in coordination with other authorities, animal quarantine, plant quarantine, security agencies, etc. As a matter of fact, Indian Customs uses the Electronic Risk Management System, or RMS, to ensure that only risky cargo goes for scrutiny of custom officer. And if we talk about the inter-agency coordination, then we are using an IT-enabled single window, which ensures that clearances from different agencies are granted at one single point. At some important locations, customs on both the sides exchange trade data also on a regular basis for necessary reconciliation. After having mentioned about SAFTA arrangement, I think it is important to mention two more recent arrangements, which is, one is the Protocol on Inland Waterway Transit and Trade, and second is Agreement for use of Chattogram and Mongla ports. Both these arrangements fall under the ambit of Ministry of Shipping of Government of India. When we talk about the Protocol on Inland Water Transit and Trade, then we all know that in this protocol, certain waterways that cross across the two countries using the network of great rivers like Ganga and Brahmaputra have been notified. There are different routes crossing across the Bangladesh, spreading within India. Along with that, certain important places on the waterways have also been identified as port of call. CBIC has been actively participating in the finalization of the waterway protocol as well as development of standard operating procedures from customs point of view. And CBIC is also in the process of notifying certain important places in the hinterland of India, such as Varanasi and Sahibganj, as land custom stations to cater to the trade and transit through inland waterways. Definitely, this protocol is going to facilitate transporting the goods to the landlocked northeast region of India from the mainland to the territory of Bangladesh in this arrangement. The next important arrangement is agreement to use Chattogram and Mongla ports. Both the governments have agreed a few years back. Using this arrangement, Indian goods can be transported from one part of India, say from Visakhapatnam port to the northeast region and vice versa, using the Chattogram and Mongla ports of Bangladesh and the multimodal transit through the territory of Bangladesh. While using these two arrangements, CBIC is again playing an important part, and we have notified a special regulation which is called the Transportation of Goods Through Foreign Territory Regulations 2020. This enables use of both these arrangements. And we have also, CBIC has also issued a circular, which is 14 by 2020, dated 21st February 2020, to explain the nitty-gritty of regulations and the standard operating procedures, both in inland waterway protocol as well as agreement to use Chattogram and Mongla ports. In these regulations and circulars, these two arrangements have been specifically covered. When we talk about the trade and transit, particularly the transit, then I must admit that unlike Nepal and Bhutan, India does not have a formal transit arrangement with Bangladesh. However, India has unilaterally allowed Bangladesh export goods to pass through the territory of India and eventually exported through an Indian airport or seaport. In this regard, I would like to mention circular number 48 by 2018, customs issued by CBIC. And this is a very interesting circular, I would say. It allows goods to cross through Bangladesh territory to India through a land customs station under a transshipment formality, under a bill of transshipment. It can come through a road or it can come through a railways. From the land customs station, it will come to an Indian port or airport, for example, Nhava Sheva Port of India or Air Cargo India, Air Cargo at Calcutta. And from there, the Bangladesh export goods would be exported to third country. And this arrangement is being widely used, particularly for export of Bangladesh goods to European countries through the air cargo complex of Calcutta. In this regard, I would also like to mention that Indian government has taken special care to ensure that there is not much congestion at the land customs stations. And to decongest the land customs stations, we have provided for what is called the off-border clearances. This facility is provided at the inland container depots, all inland container depots of India, particularly for facilitating the export goods of India. And we have issued a circular 52 by 2017 customs, which allows Indian export goods to pass through, to first get clearance at an inland container depot in India. And then the containers would travel through the territory of India, go to a land customs station at India-Bangladesh border. And from there, it would be directly entering through the Bangladesh territory. Having mentioned all these, what is the existing status between different arrangements? I'm sure I'm not covered the entire thing, but I have covered some of the most important things. Let us now also see what is the future action plan. And in this regard, I would like to mention two important things. The first one is the BBIN motor vehicle agreement. We all know that we have signed this agreement, but yes, there are certain issues. One particular country is not expressing willingness to join, and for that, meetings are going on even today. There is a 2-day meeting, which is 7th and 8th of March of the BBIN countries being organized in Delhi, in which we are trying to at least sign a memorandum of understanding so that at least the 3 countries can sign this MOU and activate the motor vehicle agreement. Once this is signed, the next step would be to finalize the passenger and cargo protocols, for which also the experts are working even today. And thereafter, we have formed special subgroups, one to take care of the transport part, which is under the Ministry of Road Transport, and second group is to take care of the customs formalities, which is under the Ministry of Finance. We hope that this BBIN motor vehicle agreement to come through very soon in near future. And another important thing which is in my list to mention is to allow the facility of using returning containers from Bangladesh to India for facilitating export of Bangladesh to India. This has been a persistent request from the other side, government of Bangladesh, and we thank the government of Bangladesh for this proposal. And this is very simple. It has been proposed that once the goods are exported from India to Bangladesh using a container of Indian Railways, say of Container Corporation of India, then in its return journey, the same container should be allowed to carry Bangladesh export goods to India. CBIC is actively working with the other stakeholders to allow this movement. We have already issued a draft circular, and we are now developing a software which can connect the land customs station to an inland container depot, so that the goods can directly cross through the land customs station and come to inland container depot for clearance of Bangladesh export goods. So these are some of the initiatives, the current status, the future plan, and I hope that we would discuss much more during the course of this workshop. And I would like to finish my introductory remarks at this stage, and looking forward to join the further discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much for your enlightening words, sir, and all the details about the current plans and the plan of action of the government along with the country. It was really enlightening. So now we would like to invite to deliver his address Mr. Mohammad Mustafa Kamal Mazumdar, who's the member, admin and finance, Bangladesh Land Protocol. Sir. Sir, your audio is not, you're not audible, sir. Mustafa Kamal Majumdar sahab, I'm sorry to say that we are not able to hear you. If you could switch off your video and talk only with the audio, there might be some bandwidth issue. Mustafa Kamal Majumdar Sahab, can you hear us?
Yeah, Pranam, I think at his end there is some audio issue, but it is showing here the audio is on.
Yeah, we tested it. We could hear him before.
But right now there may be some cable loose or like that, I think. You just call him over phone because he cannot hear from our communication. So please call him and to just plug off and plug in the audio jack or like it may be the problem at that end. Audio cable, I think.
So, since due to the technicalities, let us now move to the next speaker. We would like to, we will get back with Mr. Mustafa Kamal Majumdar and when the technicalities are solved. Mustafa Kamal Majumdar, sir, can you hear us? Hello? Majumdar Sahab, can you hear us? We will move to our next speaker. We would like to request Mr. Dewan Sultan Ahmed, Honorary Treasurer, India Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce and Industry, to kindly address the gathering.
Thank you, sir.
Dewan,
Thank you.
welcome, sir. Welcome, sir. Please start your initiation.
So I first congratulate you all for organizing this seminar. And I hear there's two. I would like to read the paper. I'll just give the discussion on the two papers. Is by our Tariff Commission Chairman, Mr. Abul Hussain, and Mr. Srivastava Roy, Commissioner of Customs in India. So, do you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir,
Hello?
you are audible, sir. Yes, sir, you are audible. We can hear you.
But I don't see here. Hello?
Sir, we can hear you very well, sir.
You can hear
can-
me well.
Very well, very well. We can all hear you very well.
Okay. Then number one is this, that is the custom authority in both land force in India and Bangladesh side. The commissioner states that custom harmonization, modernization, and digitization work is going on in both the countries. But so far I know that is maximum 20% is done still now. But I am worried about the cargoes. When in the month of June, then our Podda Bridge will open. Then the Benapole cargo will reach from Chittagong Port to Benapole within maximum 5 hours. And now it is reaching there minimum 8 hours through ferry. But when this 5 hours cargo will reach in Benapole in Jashore, then Benapole land port capacity is not capable to handle these cargoes. And custom authority also cannot handle these cargoes. So this is very important, I think, to arrange container port and custom authority position and Benapole port position to be more than double their capacity. This is very important both sides. And opposite side in Petraport side also, work is going on, road for 4 lanes, but it is to be ready, so far I know, within next 1.5 years. So, when Benapole Podda Bridge will open, then the cargo will be reaching in Jashore, Benapole within next three hours before. Then there will be heavy congestion in the land port area of Bangladesh. So I would request both the countries, India and Bangladesh, to please look into this to how to make the congestion easier and the road transport. When the Podda Bridge will open, then cargoes will go 3 hours before. Then what will happen? And what will happen in the total Joshua area up to Benaful will be blocked down, and there is no private movements can be done. So this position is to be looked very early. Number two, for the benefit of the export and import of both the countries, the capacity building of the Bhumra port and another port also in Chapaidabganj. This is what port? This is name. This port also to be modernized and the capacity building to be doubled. Here is the most important thing that is the custom harmonization, digitization is very important in the modern age. The way the drugs are coming and going and movement, and to check these drugs and drugs movement and gold smuggling from Bangladesh to India, this has to be checked only by the modernization and digitization of the custom authority. So, Custom Commissioner Mr. Srivastava rightly said that everything. And another point is this BBIN. BBIN owned, but no clause there for connectivity within the BBIN countries. And after formation of this BBIN, still no benefit is achieved by Bangladesh, Nepal and Bhutan. So this is actually the motor vehicles agreement. Motor vehicles agreement is not still functioning, which is very, very important. And this should be looked very seriously to make it clear, and that is the way. So actually, business is going to be double and triple within next 2-3 years when our Podda bridge will open, and the custom will play a vital role for the development and quick dispatch of the goods from both the countries. So the government of both the country is to look into it very seriously and to stop the congestion of the cargoes in both sides, in Petrapol and Benaful and Bhumra and another Chapaidabganj. There is a port. The name of the port is, sorry, this moment I cannot recollect. And these all are the things is to be very carefully done and take the goods most important, because trade volume is going to be developed day by day, is increasing, and Bangladesh this year export value is $1 billion, and India is $7+ billion, for $40 million. We expect that in the next 2 years, our export will be we are reaching, try to be $2 billion, and India will reach to be $10 billion. So to accelerate these exports and imports of both the country, number one is port capacity, land port capacity is to be double and double. And the road communication, the lane of road, 4 lane will not be cover up the cargoes. It must need to make it 8-lane road. So this is very important chapter, I think. And Bangladesh is going to newly constructed 5 more customer stations, port. So so many of customer stations is not need, because so many of customer station management is very problem, because the regulatory authority harmonization, facilitation and modernization is very important. So, and certification, country of origin certification also is very important, vital role is playing. So this thing is to be looked for, especially for Bangladesh products sent to India. Once upon a time, I hear that Benapul will have a custom machinery will be there, and the custom country of origin certificate will be available from that point. How far it is done, I don't know, because long time I had not been in the country. I had been outside the country. So I think this is very important also for this country of origin certification issued from the port area. This is very important, and I think India must look into it, and Bangladesh also look into it. Our Tariff Commission Chairman, Mr. Abul Hussain, narrated the things nicely, and Custom Commissioner, Mr. Srivastava, also take the initiative. And now the main thing is railway and reverse transport is to be developed very, very urgently. Karan riverine is very important, and those customer stations also should be equipped with modernization and harmonization. So actually, main thing, number one is communication, connectivity with the road, rail, and roads. These three is to be developed very, very seriously and within a short span of time. Because you see, our Para port is also coming. Our Matarbadi port also is coming. So only agreement will not do the business. Side by side, the infrastructure, if you not can make as per need of the cargoes, then agreement will not function. So my observation is, number one, agenda should be infrastructure development, especially road communication and port area, port authority, these two sides, and the custom harmonization and modernization. These three things is to be done very, very urgently and not to be late on it, because if it is late, then you see cargo will start from Coxbazar, Matarbadi, and it will come to Chittagong, and will sit there for 5 hours. Cargo will start from Chittagong, it will come to Podda Bridge. Then you see the queue from Benaful to Khulla. Then what happens? You will be stuck out in the Podda Bridge side. So I would request all of you, both especially India and Bangladesh government, to look into the congestion, how to solve the congestion, and the road should be 8 lane, and the land port authority capacity building should be double. And this is my observation. I am sorry, because regulatory authority, because I could not hear yesterday the subject. That's why I could not write the papers. So it is, I am very sorry for that. However, I am very happy that ICC has organized such a seminar, and many things has been discussed here. And I hope after this session, there will be a resolution adopted. As such, India, Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan can increase their business, and next time the cargo movement and the roads, railways, and steamer agreements will function as the need of the day of all the countries. I hope this seminar is success, and hope to be more and more business developed with India, Bangladesh, Nepal, and Bhutan. And I thank ICC to organize such a virtual seminar. And in near future, I hope there will be a lot of seminars and meetings, and to organize how we will increase our business for the development of our trade and investment. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dewan sir. Thank you so much for your delivery. I'd like to inform the House that we are also live streaming on YouTube. So there are many participants who are joining on YouTube. We now see Mustafa Kamal Majumdar Sahab. Mustafa Kamal Majumdar, please say something if we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Am I audible to you?
Yes, you're audible, sir. So now we request Muhammad Mustafa Kamal Majumdar, Member Admin and Finance, Bangladesh Land Port Authority, kindly address the gathering.
Thanks a lot. Honorable the session chair and coordinators, distinguished members of the panel, all of the respected, Assalamu alaikum and good morning. I welcome you all and thank you for taking the time to join us in these deliberations. I am MD Mustafa Kamal Majumdar, Joint Secretary to the Government of the People's Republic of Bangladesh, work as Member Finance and Admin in the Bangladesh Land Port Authority under the Ministry of Shipping. Our discussing topic is the role of regulatory authorities in cross-border trade through the surface road. Actually, Bangladesh Land Port Authority is not a regulatory authority, rather it is a facilitating authority. It provides service and facility to ease of running cross-border trade and international passenger movement through the surface road. The total length of the land border of Bangladesh is 4,366 kilometers. Of the total, the length of the country's border area with India is 4,096 kilometers, and the remaining 270 kilometers with Myanmar. This long land border of Bangladesh has been playing an immense role in the economic development of the country, especially in its external trade. The lion's share of Bangladesh's land trade is with India. As India, Bangladesh has the fifth longest border area in the world. Every year, about 1 million people from Bangladesh visit India for tourism, education, and medical services. Bangladesh-India bilateral annual trade has reached $10 billion. Bhutan and Nepal have also started import and export activities through land ports with Bangladesh using Indian territory. All the participating countries benefit by taking advantage of the existing trade by land. The government established the Bangladesh Land Port Authority in 2001 to facilitate and further improve import-export activities with the neighboring countries through different land ports in border areas. About 181 customs stations are declared by the National Board of Revenue for the use of land ports. Of these, the government has declared 24 land customs stations as land ports, while 12 are now operational. Of the 12 existing ports, 7 ports, namely Benapol, Burimari, Akhaura, Bhomra, Nakuga, Tamavil, and Sunahat, are now under the direct supervision of the Land Port Authority. The remaining 5 ports, namely Sunamurjit, Hili, Banglabanda, Teknaf, and Bibir Bazar, are being operated on BOT, that is build, operate, and transport basis through private operators. There are 12 new land ports under construction, namely Birol, Darshana, Bilonia, Gobrakura Koroituli, Dhanua Kamalpur, Ramgarh, Tagamuk, Silahati, Daulatganj, Shavla, Balla, and Bholaganj. Only one of the land ports of Bangladesh conducts trade with Myanmar and the rest with India. Benapol is the most important land port in Bangladesh. About 90% of the total international trade conducted by land in Bangladesh is done through this port. In order to reduce the pressure on the land port and to facilitate import and export of goods by land with India, Bhutan, and Nepal, the government launched the Burimari land port in 1986. Due to this geographical location, Bangladesh is an important transport and transshipment hub in South Asia. Bangladesh is bordered by India and Myanmar. In addition, there exist land-based import-export opportunities due to nearness with Kunming of China, Nepal, and Bhutan. Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, the father of the nation, newly independent nation, understood this beforehand. The first inter-country shipping and trade protocol was signed between India and Bangladesh in 1972 during the regime of Bangabandhu to strengthen the shipping and trade system with neighboring India, which opened new avenues for the trade for the independent country. So it is pertinent to mention that he was the first Prime Minister of independent Bangladesh to visit Benapol Road Customs checkpost in 1972 after the country's independence. In 2001, 13 customs stations were declared land ports in Bangladesh, but only 2 were operational. After coming to power in the year 2009, the present government declared 11 customs stations as land ports and directed to develop, expand, and modernize the infrastructure of 24 land ports. The SAARC summit held in 2010 in Thimphu, Bhutan, focused on improving regional communication and transit among SAARC countries. At the conference, an agreement was signed between Bangladesh and India to improve regional road connectivity with a view to expanding mutual trade. The growing influence of globalization has removed various tariff and non-tariff barriers in international trade. This indeed necessitates remedial steps to facilitate our trade and commerce with India and Myanmar and other neighboring countries. The Land Ports Authority of Bangladesh has been working tirelessly for the last 20 years to create dynamism, service sharing, and development of international trade. Various stakeholders of the port, such as customs, immigration, quarantine, BGB, banks, importers, exporters, C&F agents association, are providing necessary assistance in the functioning process of the land port. The government has decided to conduct integrated service under one umbrella involving and coordinating all stakeholders in the land port in order to facilitate service, ensure transparency and accountability, and establish good governance under ease of doing business to provide service to port users and common passengers. Meanwhile, one-stop service system is being provided at Benapol, Bhurimari, Banglabandha, and Teknaf land ports. The one-stop service will be introduced in all land ports gradually to expand business environment. In addition to modernization of goods transport, handling, storage at land ports, at present passengers are able to come and go through 11 other ports except Sonahat land port. A modern international standard passenger terminal will be constructed at Benapol and Akhaura land port. About 3.1 million passengers have so far traveled to India and arrived in Bangladesh from India using Benapol and other land ports. The aim of the present government is to build Bangladesh as a hunger-free, poverty-free, modern, self-respecting nation. That is why it has adopted and set various development goals, including the 8th Five-Year Plan, Digital Bangladesh Vision 2021, Sustainable Development Goals 2030, Vision 2041, and Delta Plan 2100. In keeping with these initiatives, Bangladesh Land Port Authority is constantly working to address the needs. It is expected that after the completion of all the ongoing projects, the port users will be able to enjoy the benefits and all port-based service will be raised to the expected level. A total of 12 billion infrastructure development work is currently going on with the help of World Bank and government funding. The development works include construction of physical infrastructure and expansion of service facilities. The airport management program recently undertaken by the authority at Bhurimari Land Port. If it becomes successful, all the works of the land port will be digitized to be able to provide service in less time, effortlessly, and efficiently. The Land Port Authority will later introduce this program in other land ports. About 15 government and non-government organizations provide various services in the land port. The organizations operate according to their own rules and regulations and thus suffer from coordination gap. This undermines the purpose of providing one-stop service under one roof. Land Port Authority has to work at the border. For this, they have to acquire a lot of land and undertake infrastructure projects. There are many difficulties in land acquisition and the process is time-consuming too. Moreover, construction of sites within 115 years of the border are often interrupted. Different ministries and agencies of both the countries are involved in resolving these issues. That requires integrated, effective, and a win-win situation for both parties. It is expected that the Bangladesh Land Ports Authority will play a unique role in promoting goodwill, cultural exchange, and amity among the people of native and the neighboring countries by creating opportunities for trade and commerce and international passenger and freight transport. Now, I would like to express the present and upcoming position of the land ports which are involved in BBIN agreement. First of all, I would like to say about Benapur, the largest land port stations of Bangladesh. Our ongoing development activities, construction of a cargo vehicle terminal on area of about 25 acres at a cost of Taka 289 crore. The car parking capacity of the terminal is about 1,250. Land acquisition under the project has already been completed and construction work has also started. The project is scheduled to be completed in June 2023. Work is underway to build a border wall and install CCTV at a cost of about 55 crore to improve the security system of the port. This project is being implemented with the funding of the World Bank. Acquisition of another 16.41 acres of land for expansion of the port is in progress. Moreover, for the expansion and modernization of the port, a development project is being undertaken at cost of Taka 1,000 crore with World Bank funding. At present, the feasibility and design activities of the project are going on. Under this project, necessary infrastructure will be constructed for the port. Besides, in the event of COVID-19 epidemic, import activities have started at Benapur land port by road as well as by rail. The Land Port Authority has been conducting operations of rail wagon, side door container arriving at Benapur land port since July 23, 2020, with goods imported from India. A standard operating procedure SOP has been issued for conducting import activities by rail. Taka 60 crore has been provided to the railway department from this authority for the development of necessary infrastructure of railways adjacent to Benapur Petrapur land. In order to bring dynamism and transparency in the import-export rate of the land port, automation has been completed in all the activities related to load and unloading, revenue collection, and weighing of the weighbridge scale in different shades of Benapur land port. And another important land port is Bhurimari land port. Ongoing development activities is about 25 acres of land has been acquired for development and expansion of Bhurimari land port. The development activities of the port are being undertaken at a cost of around 400 crore with the funding of the World Bank. The project is currently undergoing feasibility study and design. And about Akhaura land ports, the port will be developed in coordination with the National Board of Revenue under the SASIC Integrated Facilities Project with financial support from the Asian Development Bank. DPP is in process for approval. And about Tamavil land port station, the ongoing development activities, the port will be developed in coordination with the National Board of Revenue under the SASIC Integrated Facilities Project with financial support from the Asian Development Bank. DPP is in process for approval. However, this is all about the Land Port Authority of Bangladesh. What type of role we play, I have cited something here. Thank you all. Thank you again for patient hearing me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for being present and thank you for introducing the thing. I'd like to inform the House that post this discussion, we will have a documentation of the entire discussions which has happened, and we will present it to the respective relevant ministries of both the countries. So now we come to our next speaker. We have got with us, we have Ms. Samriddhi Bimal, Senior Trade Researcher from ENY, who would be representing Land Ports Authority of India. Madam Samriddhi Bimal, I request you to kindly address the gathering.
Yes, am I audible to everyone?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Okay,
You're
so
visible.
on behalf of the Land Ports Authority of India, I would like to thank ICC for inviting us to a very important session today. Although our esteemed panelists have covered most of the important points earlier, but I would like to offer some of our remarks related to this topic. So, as it is already aware that India shares over 15,000 kilometers of international land borders with 7 neighboring countries in the region, land borders have an extremely important role to play in trade integration in South Asia. And also, our land borders and land ports are at the helm of all regional trade facilitation and transit issues. Despite of this, only about less than 5% of the country's total trade today takes place through India's land borders. However, a significant proportion of India's trade with the neighboring countries takes place through the land ports and the land borders. And as per estimates, around 40% of India's total trade with Bangladesh, Bhutan, Nepal, Myanmar, and Pakistan today takes place via the land borders. Now, cross-border trade across India's land borders is facilitated by multiple regulatory
Madam Samriddhi, if you would switch off your video.
Yeah, bandwidth showing low, very low at Miss Samriddhi's side. So switch off your video and
Bimal,
please.
if you switch off your video and just deliver your audio. Hello. Madam Samriddhi Bimal, can you hear us?
Due to low bandwidth, she is not able to hear also, I think.
What can be done?
Actually, from his end, from her end, he has to to move the increase the bandwidth or to just log in from the mobile. That's the only option because I have no control over that bandwidth.
Sorry for the technical glitch.
Yeah, Pranam, you please just call her mobiles and just.
You do one thing. You log her out. I'll ask her to re-log in.
Yeah, but I can do the logout from my end, but she has to log out from his end. Otherwise, he will be she will be the expelled from this meeting. Okay. She has to log out from her device and then log in from the mobile. I think it will be resolved.
We'll move to our next speaker. As we will now request Mr. Dr. Varghese Pandey, Assistant Director, Plant Protection Officer, Plant Control Station, Guwahati, to kindly address the audience. Varghese Pandey, sir, can you hear us? Hello. Hello, Varghese Pandey, sir, can you hear us?
Yeah, Pandya sir, can you hear us?
Hello. Pandey, sir, please switch off your video. Just enter only with your audio. Ms. Samriddhi Bimal, can you hear us? Vagish Pandey Saab, can you hear us? Vagish Pandey Saab, can you hear us?
Yeah, Pranam, I think he's not able to hear us because his microphone is showing green, but no communication from his microphone to our webinar. I have just messaged him right now to just check the audio.
Did you message?
Yeah. From the panel, I have messaged him already. Pranam, just you request both of them to just log in from the mobile and log out from this panel, yeah, from the laptop or desktop. Okay. Otherwise, it will not resolve the issue.
Madam Samriddhi Bimal, can you hear us? Mr. Vagish Pandey, can you hear us?
Madam Samit is not log out or has he joined from the mobile? I think not.
She's joined from a laptop.
Yeah, that's I suggest that there is problem at his her band. Yeah, right now she just log out, and now request her to just log in from mobile.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Just go.
and Mr. Dr. Vinesh Pandey's problems are the same also, I think.
Vagish Pandey Saab, has he logged out?
No. So, he has not also log out. You just request our phone to just log out and join from mobile.
Okay. I apologize to the House for this technical glitch. Kindly bear with us. We will just resolve this.
Yeah, Pranam, Mr. Bhagesh Pandey now joined from mobile. I can see his on the panel's name, and
Mr. Vagish
Mr.
Pandey, now can you hear us, sir? Dr. Vagish Pandey, sir? Dr. Vagish Pandey, sir? Yes, can you
Yeah,
hear us now, sir?
yeah, I am hearing to you.
Okay, now we can also hear. Okay, I request you to kindly deliver your address, sir. Dr. Vagish Pandey, sir.
Hello.
Yeah, Dr. Vagish Pandey, we can hear you. You
audible?
kindly. Yes, you are audible.
Hello.
Yes, you are audible, sir.
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir. Please carry on, sir.
Hello.
You are audible, sir.
Hello.
Hello. Debu, we are not hearing him.
Hello.
We are hearing
Yeah,
him.
I can also hear him clearly, but I think he's not able to hear. But it is a mobile. I think you should just a minute.
Yeah, we can
Hello.
hear him. Yes. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir,
Can
we
you
can
hear
hear
us?
you.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Can you hear us, sir? Hello, can you hear us, sir? Vagish Pandey Saab? Sir, switch off your video and talk only with the audio, sir.
Hello.
I think he has not just connected his the microphone jack with his ear. That's why it is not able. He's not able to hear because the video I can see that,
Hello.
or in the loudspeaker mobile he has to just
Wagi
switch on.
Saab, can you hear us?
Hello.
Yes, sir, we can hear you. Please put on your microphone jack on the mobiles or on the loudspeaker mode mobile, please, sir.
Can you hear us, sir? Samriddhi Bimal, madam, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Am I audible now?
Yeah, now you're audible, madam. You can start your delivery, madam. Now we are clear. We can clearly hear you.
Okay, so I'm not sure to what extent was I audible last time.
Madam, I think you can initiate the thing once more, madam. I'm sorry for
Okay.
that. It was
Okay,
difficult.
not a problem. I'm so sorry that the audio got disconnected. But on behalf of the Land Ports Authority of India, I would like to thank. Hello.
Yes, madam, please continue.
Yes. I would like to thank ICC for inviting us to a very important session. And although our esteemed panelists have covered most of the important topics earlier, I would like to remarks related to this. So as it is already aware that India shares over 15,000 kilometers of international land borders with 7 neighboring countries in the region, land borders and land ports today play an extremely important role in trade integration in South Asia, and they're also at the helm of all regional trade facilitation and transit related issues. Despite that, less than 5% of the country's total trade today takes place through the land borders. But what's important to mention here is that a significant proportion of India's trade with its neighboring countries actually takes place through the land route. And as per estimates, around 40% of India's total trade with Bangladesh, Bhutan, Nepal, Myanmar, and Pakistan takes place via the land borders. Now, cross-border trade across India's land borders is facilitated by multiple regulatory authorities such as Customs, Animal Quarantine, Plant Quarantine, Food Safety Authority, and several of our eminent panelists have also represented some of these regulatory authorities. But for several years, India's regional trade with its neighboring countries has actually failed to reach its envisaged potential. And while there are several reasons for this, one of the main reasons has been that there are multiple regulatory authorities involved in the cross-border trade, with no single agency actually responsible for coordinated functioning of these authorities. There are several other challenges that have actually impeded cross-border trade, which have also been discussed in this session earlier, like, for instance, the disproportionately high trade costs. Like, it's easier to trade outside the region than to trade within the region. Then there are infrastructural challenges such as poor infrastructure, there are imposition of non-tariff barriers. Even prior to entering a land port in India, a cargo vehicle has to actually undergo and cross multiple checkpoints. Then there are geopolitical factors. There is absence of electronic systems for facilitating trade at land borders, both within India and at our neighboring countries. And a lot of work is being done to actually resolve these issues. So, recognizing the importance of land-based trade, the government of India has focused on formulating an integrated border management strategy, and the establishment and constitution of the Land Ports Authority of India forms a crucial aspect of this strategy. As an authority, LPI is committed to achieving a balance between the need to maintain security against cross-border threats and the freedom of movement for persons, goods, services, and commerce. LPAI is the nodal agency responsible for construction, operation, and management of integrated checkposts that are defined to actually house all the regulatory agencies like immigration, customs, border security, etc., together with providing support facilities in a single complex equipped with all modern amenities, and it serves as a single window facility. So, similar to what our panelists from the Bangladesh Land Port Authority also mentioned, LPI is also not really a regulatory authority, but it is definitely an important infrastructure service provider that actually houses all the regulatory authorities together. And as per the mandate entrusted upon by LPI, one of the key functions that it has is to coordinate and facilitate the working of agencies who have been involved to undertake various activities at the integrated checkposts in accordance with the respective law, of course, for the time being in force. And as a provider of infrastructure services, LPI only determines and charges fees for cargo handling, warehousing, parking, or any other service facility that it offers in relation to the transport operations. Apart from that, LPI does not determine or charge any fees at its land ports. But as the nodal agency responsible for facilitating cross-border trade, LPI has the responsibility of achieving policy coherence and coordination amongst the various regulatory authorities and the stakeholders involved in cross-border trade. And in this regard, I would like to mention that the authority undertakes regular consultative meetings with its stakeholders to understand any pertinent issues and ensures resolution of the same. In a sense, LPI today provides a single entry point for border clients and for possible coordination and for ensuring possible coordination with neighboring and trading partners in terms of border cooperation and collaboration. One point that has been unanimously emphasized by all the panelists has been that of coordination and cooperation. And these two aspects are vital to address the challenges confronted today in the trade and transport facilitation across land borders. And LPI is trying hard and it's ensuring to undertake regular consultations with all the authorities to ensure this vision. In fact, for simplification of trade procedures and documentation, LPI has formulated a standard operating procedure for cargo movement, and the same has been circulated and is being followed by all the regulatory authorities and stakeholders on the ground. Like other modes of transportation, trade and transport facilitation via land ports is increasingly being linked to the development and application of ICT. I'm happy to inform that LPI has conceptualized a land port management system, which is like a port community system that will act as an integrated platform for all regulatory authorities and stakeholders at the ICP. In terms of its provisions, the system has facilities and provisions for including vehicle tracking, slot management. It has data analysis, disaster recovery provisions, and this will also, in some senses, resolve the problems and issues that were raised by a representative from the India-Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce, because LPMS also has a facility for tracking the parking facility. So it will also ease, in some ways, the congestion at the Petrapol-Benapol border point. And the LPMS system is planned to be implemented at all the 9 operational ICPs that is being managed by LPI today. And it will also have the provision to include other upcoming ICPs in the future. So by this system, we are trying to ensure greater means of coordination and coherence amongst all the regulatory authorities and the stakeholders involved in cross-border trade. And as a last point, I would also like to mention that LPI is actually seeking a more coordinated and collaborative border management approach. The authority works in close cooperation with its counterparts in its neighboring countries, and setting an example of a strong border agency cooperation between the Land Ports Authority of India and Bangladesh Land Port Authority. Both the countries laid the foundation stone of a common second cargo gate along the international border at ICP Petrapol, which is the busiest border crossing point between India and Bangladesh, last year in September. Now, this move is expected to speed up the release clearance of goods at the border crossing through a better institutional arrangement and further enhance bilateral trade and connectivity between the two countries. And with these brief remarks, I would like to once again thank the organizers and all the eminent panelists and the participants for joining today's session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Madam Samriddhi Bilal. Thank you for your delivery. We would now move to Mr. Dr. Varghese Pandey. Dr. Varghese Pandey, can you hear us, sir?
Yeah, I am hearing to you, sir.
Okay, sir. Sir, you can start your delivery, sir.
Okay, thank you. Very good morning to you all, Honorable Commissioner of the Custom and Bangladesh authorities and the authorities of Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry and exporter importers. We welcome to you all. Now I sharing my slides. Okay. Are you seeing my slides? Are you getting my slides?
Yes, Dr. Pandey, we are seeing your slide.
Okay, okay.
If you make it full screen.
Yeah. Manju, कहाँ से करेगा? अच्छा, एक मिनट. Are you getting full screen?
Yes, we are. Okay, thank you.
Now I will start my slides. What is the planned quarantine? The planned quarantine is not more. It is very simple. The quarantine word you are more aware after the COVID-19, and if the quarantine procedures involve in plant and plant products, then it called plant quarantine. Very simple. And the pest it is involved to human being. It's called pest. And if pest is any pest is available in Bangladesh and not available in India, or in India and not in Bangladesh, then the pest regulatory procedure called quarantine procedure of the quarantine pest. And for this regulation, we use the phytosanitary measures to check the quarantine pest from this country and from that country to in our country. Why plant quarantine required? As you are aware that in 1845 to 1849, due to Irish famine caused by the phytosanitary stance in potato by the causing and potato lead blight, more than 1 million people are killed or forced to leave his station due to starvation and other things. You again see the high plant quarantine because the plant by the not implementing the proper plant quarantine procedure. You see here a lot of pest entered into India, as like in 1889 green scale in coffee entered into India. It is a long list. Now I am coming on 1916. The Parthenium histophorus beets entered into India in wheat by the USA. The objectives of plant quarantine. Manju, ये क्यों नहीं जा रहा? ये minimize. 1 second. What is the objectives of plant quarantine? To facilitate export certification of plants and plant products for safe global trade in agriculture, to protect our plant life from ravages of destructive insect pests, to prevent the entry, establishment and spread of the exotic pest in India as per the provisions of the Destructive Insect Pests Act 1914. How plant quarantine works? It is the part of United Nations of Food and Agriculture Organization, followed by the International Plant Protection Convention (IPPC), followed by the Regional Plant Protection Convention Asia Pacific. Then the National Plant Protection Organization is the NPPO in Government of India, followed by the Directorate of Plant Protection Quarantine. Then the Plant Quarantine Station Guwahati. The phytosanitary measures works by the ISPM, International Standards for Phytosanitary Measures. A lot of phytosanitary measures adopted by us, and it is promoted by the FAO, and as we are signatory of WTO, so we have followed these type of ISPMs. See here a lot of ISPMs. Till date, ISPM 42. 42 ISPMs adopted by us as well as funded by FAO. The ISPM 42, the requirements of use of temperature treatment as phytosanitary measures in adopted in 2018. Now we are going on main ISPMs as like ISPM 12. In this ISPM 12, we issue the phytosanitary certificates, and by using this type of phytosanitary certificates, you can export your consignment from India to Bangladesh. The requirement made by importing countries with the respect to preparation and issue of the phytosanitary certificates, purpose of phytosanitary certificates, mode of issue of the certificates, attachments, unacceptable certificates, invalid phytosanitary certificates, and foreign activities. These type of activities would be governed by the ISPM 12. Now ISPM 13, guidelines for notification of non-compliance and emergency action. If suppose you send any consignment by the from India to Bangladesh, and Bangladesh country find any pest in consignment which is regulated in Bangladesh, then the remedy, if the remedy procedure in the Bangladesh country, the country would remedy the procedure of the consignment. If they not have remedy procedure, then they have sent a non-compliance, and these things are governed by the ISPM 13. Now the ISPM 18, guidelines for use of irradiation as a phytosanitary measures. It is not useful for export of the Bangladesh country. guidelines for phytosanitary import regulatory system. It is only for importing, not for exporting. Now ISPM 28, phytosanitary treatment for regulated pests. As I already told you all that if the remedy procedure available in India or in Bangladesh, the remedy procedure will be followed. If any consignment infested with insect, pest or any disease, if not, they would be deported or restricted in the same country. Now ISPM 31, methodologies for sampling of consignment. Suppose you put up any consignment for inspection meant to export to Bangladesh or any country, then we have to inspect the consignment and sample the consignment. How sampling did, it is governed by the ISPM 31. This standard provides guidance to National Plant Protection Organization in selecting appropriate sampling methodologies for inspection or testing of consignments to verify compliance with phytosanitary requirements. This standards does not give guidelines on field sampling, for example, as required for survey and others. How you start your export? First, you have to register in the plant quality information system. By this, you require PAN. PAN you can get from the Income Tax Department, Government of India. Then you have export import code. It is issued by the DGFT, Government of India. GST registration certificate of the means the requirement of the registration. First PAN, then IC, then Udyog Aadhaar is not also mandatory. And selection of products, you select the product which is freely exportable, except prohibited or restricted commodity. As you are aware or not aware, a lot of consignments are restricted to a lot of countries. As like in just Indonesia banned our commodity as like ginger. And before 3 to 4 years, the European Union also banned a lot of commodities as like brinjal, as like mango. So before planning our export, you should think about what is the product that is freely exportable, that should be not prohibited or restricted, and the trends of export different country to different products are the trend. As like some countries are exporting only the tea, some countries are only taking the rice. So you have to check the trend of the commodity, and before starting the export, you should check the market assess. It is commodity wise, the quality of commodities, the monetary benefits, the buyer and country requirements. It differs from country to country. As EU countries required pack house processing, as I told. Mexico requires from Khapra BTL and registered pack house. The backward linkage of the commodities. If you're sending chili to Mexico, then you have to backward linkage of the product as well as the registered pack house with the Directorate of Plant Protection, Quarantine and Storage as well as the PIDA. You can see here as buyer seller meet, you can find the exports and imports, exporter and importer. Now you require to submit these papers after the registration. Letter of agreement before starting export, you have to letter of agreement and import permit and additional declaration requires differ from country to country. Suppose some countries are requiring additional declarations, as like European Union asking in case of mango, it should be free from fruit fly. As like if are sending papaya, they also requires a declaration that is free from fruit fly. Our country not required import permit except propagating materials as like soil, live plants, etc. as per Plant Quality Order 2003. Registration permission of the organization as like tea board, spice board, and customs. Some products are require more organization involvement as like tea board, spice board. There are two URLs can be accessed by the Chrome or Internet Explorer. These URL you can note down also. Here some SOPs are available. One can see these for export, and it differs from country to country or commodity. Now you see the how to register in the PKIS system. Before you are starting export, you have to register in the PKIS, and by these URL, as I told the URL, by using these URL, you go on Google and you just write your URL, then you get this type of page. Here you log in. Below the login, you see sign up. When you click the sign up, then you get this type of form. You fill these form as like export import name, address, and we have here 5 address options. As like many exporters getting problem, as like they have a different address in IC and different address in PAN, difference in GST registration. So you mention all the address, so there is no any problem in the registration, as well as when you getting export, then no address mismatch between quarantine, between custom, between T-board and others. Then you have to register. Click the button register. Then again option that you should contact admin. After contact admin, you first of all I tell this, fill the details that I already told, PAN and Aadhaar number. After this one can get message email that contact admin. After this you should submit the hard copy of the IC, PAN and GST to PQ office. After this the PQ office verify along and when you register your PQI system, then you have a valid email ID as well as valid mobile number. If you given already valid phone number and valid email ID, after this, if you have any problem in future, suppose you forget your password, and if you have valid email ID and phone number, you can again there you can forget password, then you can the new password in your email, and after this you can reset your password and email. Already told to you. After getting registered in the PQI system, you use your ID and password. By that URL, you log in there, and after login, as you here, phytosanitary certificates as by the red arrow, you click the phytosanitary certificate. After clicking the phytosanitary certificate, you may get this type of form, as like applied to which station. Suppose you get registration in Guwahati, I want to send consignment from Kolkata or Mumbai or some anywhere. Then you click apply to station Guwahati, Kolkata, Mumbai, as like. Once registration required in the plant bill system, you can export from India any station, as like Kolkata, Mumbai, Delhi, Guwahati, any station. Then you have filled the exporter name already as you registered, same here appear. Then after the importer name, then importer address, the commodity, select the commodity. It is by the pop-up. You just click and scroll. Then you can select the commodity. After selecting the commodity, the scientific name automatically will come. Then the commodity description. Then select the plant part. Then select category. Then select quantity. Then units. Then quantity, number of package, mode of packing, distinguished mark if you any have, country of origin India already from, if you are exporting from India, then India, purpose of export, sowing, propagation or for consumption, country to export, which country you want to export, and means of conveyance, by road, by sea, by air, what type of conveyance you using, place of inspection, if you want inspect the consignment in the office, then you select the office. Otherwise, as where your consignment located, you select that location. Then the value of commodity. After this, you check these as like fumigation certificate, invoice, import permit, letter of agreement, ship bill, aero bill, and others. You for export, you have to check only the invoice and letter of agreement, import permit, and others. In others, the packing is involved. And after this, you tick the I have read the disclaimers and accept all the terms and conditions. After this, you have to submit. After the submit, you can take print, and again you go in the application status. In application status, you go there, one option is fee. Then you submit the fee, online fee. It is not much more than 150. The maximum amount is 150. So you submit the fee and you take the print the application. Next. As like I already told, many fields are with pop-up. So just click and scroll. You have get many options. After this, print this online field application and submit it with invoice, packing list, shipping bill, aero bill, content copy, import permit, fumigation certificate if required. After this, PQ officer deported 5 system. Fumigation certificate required only Bangladesh now for wheat, for rice. Only fumigation required for wheat and wheat, rice, and maize for the Bangladesh. If you are sending these 3 commodities, wheat, rice, and maize, then you have to fumigation certificate. Next, essential documents to be provided by the exporter importer. For import, original phytosanitary certificate, bill of lading, aerobill bill, bill of entry, invoice, packing list, certificate of origin, and treatment certificate if required. And for export, invoice, packing list, shipping bill, aerobill, contact copy, import permit, fumigation certificate. Now here I want to see the channel by whom you know the procedure. As you submit the export application, after this it will be finalized in the office. If probated item, then reject the application. If your item is not probated, then each application is complete, then registration of application. And if not correct, then it would be reverted and resubmit the application. After this assessment of fee, you submit fee. After this, the issuance of the quarantine order, by which the community comes in which quarantine order. Then input data application. Then inspect and sampling of the consignment, as I already told. Then laboratory testing of the samples. Then if any pest, then the consignment will be rejected. If no any pest, then the consignment would be further pest free. If the quarantine pest, the fumigation treatment procedure will be possible. If the remedy process available, then we apply the remedy procedure. If not remedy procedure, the consignment rejected and will be deported or be destructed. Next, phytosanitary requirements. The consignment should be free from, first of all, insect, then pest, then bees, times, soil, and material. Export, always export the quality product. As you see here, the quality product would be exported. And before the export, you should label your boxes. As suppose sending any consignment to European or Bangladesh, suppose a lot of product coming from different country. So if you label, then your importer easily recognize that this is our product came from India. So labeling the packing and marking. So as you pack, as easy handling means not much more better. Suppose 20 kg pack you made, it is not handling. So you make just 5-10 kg packet. Easy handling, maximum loading, reducing sampling cost, ensuring safety, provides identification and information of cargo packed. And you should also do the insurance. Suppose you not do insurance, if anything happen, then your product would be samples of plant quarantine for inspection. You see here, our inspectors are doing sampling and inspection of the products for the export. Here, the timelines for export and import. Suppose you are then if you import the cut flower, fresh fruit, tissue culture and mushroom span culture, timeline 4 to 6 hours. Plant material for consumption 1 to 2 working days plus fumigation exposure time if required. Plant and plant materials requiring post-entry quarantine like bulbs, tubers, cuttings, samplings, budwoods, etc. 12 to 24 hours requires. Seeds for sowing 8 to 10 days. For fungal and bacterial additional declaration are verified. 30 to 35 days where additional declaration for the virus are to be verified. And for export, if perishable commodities such as tissue culture, fresh fruits and vegetables and cut flowers, within 24 hours we issue the certificate. And for plant material for consumption, 1 to 2 working days plus fumigation exposure time required. And for sowing propagating materials, 8 to 10 days required. Here you can see here phytosanitary certificate as well as import release order. In right hand, you are see the import release order, and here the export certificate is PSC. Export potential of any year. Cereals and cereal products, rice, maize, wheat, cut flower ornaments, rose, gerbera, arches, marigold, lily, dried fruits, cashew, dried mushrooms, oyster mushroom, agaricus mushrooms, dry fruits and nuts. A lot of product here you can export. Orange, pineapple, lemon, citrus, lychee, pear, plum, pear, papaya, etc. Beans, cowpea, okra, cucumber, colecraft, tomato, brinjal, gourds, leafy vegetables, food jolokia is very famous for European Union as well as for Bangladesh and other countries also. cardamom, cinnamon, black pepper, lang pepper, bay leaves, bamboo and cane products already exported to Bangladesh as well as Bhutan. Tea in all over world. I am sending coffee all over world. Ginger, turmeric, a good quality of curcumin here available, so you can export to Bangladesh and other countries very easily. Here I am giving you a lot of products exported from India to different country. Inspection and rejection. Here you see a lot of products we are receiving, and in there we detect the pest. So before you taking the consignment to the inspection, at primary level you should see this type of products and reject area level. As like you see here, tea flowers and green tea consignments. Here you see pest detected in my office. In brinjal, here you say brinjal fruit and food borer. It is in the fruit, and a broad beans. It is here also a pest. You see here. Inspection rejection of chili here a pest. In pineapple here a pest. Inspection rejection of bulbs and tubers. Here you see jackfruit. Here cracking of the fruits. If any cracks in the fruits, then it means already infested by the insect pest or some other things. So you not select this type of products for export. I like here to ginger. Ginger is rotten. Here you see pomegranate is already rotten. Here one pest in bottle, lemon thrips. You cannot see by the naked eye. I already inspected the consignment and kept in the bottle. Lemon thrips exported to European Union. Here you see as like apple. The apple is rotten. It is exported to Bhutan. Here you say onion smut, onion maggot, bulb nematode in potato scab and potato lead blight. These type of symptoms you see in your consignment. At primary level you reject there. Fresh fruits as like citrus fruit borer, citrus canker, citrus scale insect, citrus fruit fly, citrus mealybug, anthracnose of papaya, black spot of papaya, ring spot of papaya, mealybug of papaya, scale insect of papaya, phytophthora fruit rot of papaya, fruit rot of pineapple, fruit borer of pineapple, mealybug of the pineapple, anthracnose of the beans, bacterial blight of beans, angular spot of beans, spot borer of beans, aphid of beans, shoot and fruit borer of the brinjal, okra. And the same pest is causing the okra, and same pest also causing the brinjal. Here gram pot borer, you say in the you see here in the fruit of the okra, the gram pot borer already inserting. Here thrips attack in okra, bacterial blight in okra. Here you see crucifers, the pest of crucifers, bacterial leafy spot, alternate leafy spot, bacterial soft rot, diamond bite moth, anthracnose of cucurbits, mosaic of cucurbits, fruit fly attack in cucurbits, phytophthora fruit rot, anthracnose of tomato, lead blight of tomato, bacterial spot of tomato, fruit fly of tomato, fruit borer of tomato, mosaic of tomato, anthracnose of chili, phytophthora blight of chili, alternate spot of chili, fruit borer of chili, thrips in chili. Here a khapra beetle. It is very nuisance pest for Mexico in Chile. In brinjal, anthracnose of brinjal, fruit rot of brinjal, fruit borer and thrips. Here I showing you some visits by the officers and officials of the plant parent station. Here Hathi sir. Here Daranga for export of bamboo. You see here. Here visit Kamardesa. Here Golakganj. Flag of fresh jackfruit to London, UK. Here see the pics of Pack House. Flag of King Chili to London, UK. Flag of match to Bangladesh. Meeting awareness program attended by me. And finally, thanks. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Pandey, for this elaborate presentation. So we are now towards the conclusion of this session. So prior to concluding that, I request our chairman, Mr. Vimal Kumar Srivastav, Principal Commissioner, Customs and EP, CBIC, to kindly provide a conclusive remark regarding this session.
Once again, let me thank the organizers for this very enlightening interaction come workshop. And in today's workshop, we have touched upon several dimensions of bilateral trade and bilateral relations between the two countries. We have also seen what are specific measures to enhance the trade between the two countries, and divergent issues from geopolitical issues to intricate technical issues, from multi-agency syndrome to the need for inter-agency coordination, from policy coherence to cross-border coordination. So many dimensions we have discussed, and I'm thankful to all the esteemed panelists for putting forth their ideas on the table. For concluding this session, I would say that we recognize there are different agencies working at the land ports and land customs stations, but there are some common theme, there are some common takeaways for all the agencies which are flowing from this workshop, and I would like to point out a few of them. First of all, as the Honorable Chairman Bangladesh Tariff Commission has suggested, that there's a need to remove regulatory ambiguity, and there should be a continuous exercise for impact assessment. This is very important for all regulatory agencies, which have work facilitator than as a regulator. And for this, there should be a continuous stakeholder consultation so far as different regulations, rules, laws, etc. are concerned. In fact, I would like to draw attention to the specific provisions of the Trade Facilitation Agreement in this area, which requires that at both the stages, that means at the time of a regulatory agency is drafting any regulation or law, there is a need to consult the stakeholders, and after it is put in place, there is a need to give sufficient time gap so that stakeholders can air their views and resolve any difficulties. So this should be a continuous exercise. In India, there are established mechanisms in all agencies, particularly in the Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs, to take up such exercises from time to time. Second important theme of today's workshop has been the buzzword of simplification, modernization, and harmonization. These are again very important things for all agencies, and it is also flowing from the WTO Trade Facilitation Agreement. In this regard, I'm sure all agencies on both the sides must have taken up a continuous exercise towards modernization and harmonization in their rules and regulations. And again, the infra development, which is also a part of modernization exercise. Here, I would like to emphasize on the role of the land port authorities of both the sides. And I'm thankful that they have informed us what are the different projects both the sides are working on. And I'm sure that they are working in coordination so as to ensure the coordinated development. And there are certain bottlenecks so far as infra development is concerned, which is coming in the way of smooth trade flow. A few of them could be highlighted as the need to improve parking spaces, the need to provide more warehousing facilities, the need to provide testing facilities, etc. And here again, the role of land port authorities of both the sides is very important, to consult the concerned agencies and ensure that these facilities are put in place as soon as possible. The fourth theme, which is very important coming out of this workshop, is the need of cross-border coordination. And when I say cross-border coordination, it should happen at all the level, which means government to government and up to agency to agency. In fact, at most of the land custom station and integrated checkposts, there is an informal mechanism of both the customs authorities of both the sides to have regular meetings and discuss the issues and how to resolve them. And if we talk about the apex level, there is a mechanism of discussion at the Ministry of External Affairs level, at the Commerce Secretary level. There is a infrastructure group of both the countries, which is headed by the chairman of the Land Port Authority of both the countries. And there is a customs group also, where member customs of both the countries sit together with their teams and discuss how to resolve the impinging issues. In fact, let me inform that the next customs subgroup meeting is scheduled on 23rd and 24th March in Dhaka. That means this month only. The next important point is the need of proper interagency coordination. And once again, for this, the role of Land Port Authority of both the sides is very important. We all know that around 20 years back, there used to be only land custom stations, and over a period of time in the last 15-20 years, we have developed many integrated checkposts with all the agencies put in one common platform, coordinating together, talking to each other. And here again, I'm thankful to the Land Port Authority of India for putting forth the concept of LPMS, that is the Land Port Management System. And I think that the concept has already been approved by the authority. And I would urge the other side, the Land Port Authority from Bangladesh, also to think of similar ways. That means to create a platform, an IT-enabled platform on which all the agencies can coordinate their functions together. Finally, two more important areas which I would like to highlight is I think somebody mentioned about the need of curb the smuggling. So cooperation in enforcement is also very important, and that also requires interagency coordination as well as cross-border coordination between both the sides. That means cooperation between security agencies, customs, among themselves, as well as across the border. And finally, I think this is going to be the most important point, is the need of capacity building. We are working together. We are working persistently to create more facilities, develop more infrastructure, more instruments, more arrangements, bilateral arrangements. But unless our stakeholders know about it, I think the effort would be futile. So there is a need of continuous capacity building of stakeholders from both the sides. So I'm sure that with all the measures in place and with the continuous effort from different agencies from both the sides, we are going to materialize the true potential of India-Bangladesh cross-border trade very soon. And definitely it is going to fuel the economic development of both the countries. So with these words, I thank you very much and give the floor to the organizers.
Thank you very much, sir. So we now come to the end of the technical session. We had a query from Mr. M.J. Sheikh. If sir, Mr. M.J. Sheikh, if you'd like to ask about it, you are unmuted. If you would like to say something regarding certain queries which you have put up. Mr. M.J. Sheikh, would you like to address the House?
I am also associated with India-Bangladesh Chamber for some number of years. And Mr. Dewan Sultan Ahmed mentioned very rightly whatever I wanted to say. Our practical experience is this container movement between Mumbai and Chittagong, between Mumbai and Benapole, are more or less having similar troubles. Our expectation was the internal trade between Mumbai and Benapole would have been easier when the containers are not available, when the sea freight has gone up 5 times in this sector. But unfortunately, the real-time experience during last 1 year is both expense as well as time for a container to reach through inland between Mumbai to Benapole is sometimes more than the sea between Mumbai and Chittagong. And similar experience if we route the cargo via Chennai port. We have seen a lot of developments, but the pace of trade volume and the cargo has obviously outpaced the infra growth. That is a concern that everybody has accepted, tried to address, but a lot more has to be done. I have been witness to this trade last 20 years. I worked for this company last 30 years. Many times I feel sad that despite our IT growth, our so many other infra growth, airports growth, we have a airport in Calcutta which we can be proud of. But we don't have a port in Benapole which we can be proud of. So that is my view, which I wanted to project. Thank you very much for giving time to speak. I'm really thankful, and will continue to contribute wherever possible. Hopefully, our viewpoints helps the decision makers, the land port commissioner and chairman and relevant commissioner, principal commissioner present here, and takes all consulted views and give some push to the efforts which are undergoing now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Whatever has been discussed today, it has been recorded, and this will all be documented and presented as a white paper to the relevant departments of both the governments. So we will continue with this. So we now come to the end of this technical session, the special session on the role of regulatory authorities. So from the next session we are having, we will be having the special session on port use agreements from 1 p.m. I would request the dignitaries present and the delegates present to kindly join that session also. So I would now like to thank the panelists here. I would like to thank Mohammad Afzal Hussain, Chairman, Bangladesh Trade and Tariff Commission, for his presence here and his deliveries. I'd like to thank Sri Vimal Kumar Srivastava, Principal Commissioner, Customs and AP, Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs, Government of India, for his insightful deliveries today. I would also like to thank Muhammad Mustafa Kamal Mazumdar, Member, Admin and Finance, Bangladesh Land Port Authority, for his delivery. I would like to thank Sri Dewan Sultan Ahmed, Honorary Treasurer, India Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce and Industry. I would also like to thank Madam Samriddhi Bimal, Senior Trade Researcher from ENY, representing Land Ports Authority of India, for her presentation. And finally, I'd like to thank Dr. Vagish Pandey, Assistant Director, Plant Protection Center, Plant Protection Station, Guwahati, for his elaborate presentation. So I thank all the panelists and all the delegates being here today. So we would request you to rejoin at 1 o'clock for the special session on port use agreements. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much too. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.